Happy New Year and welcome to the first episode of Ground Zero with Kato for the year 2021. 2021 is already gearing up to be a very interesting year. I call it 2020 Pro Max. We're already seeing, drama in the United States. In fact, I'll call that a quelled coup. We have drama in Nigeria, drama in Uganda, everywhere. 2020 kind of prepared us for this year because it's not looking to be anything different. It's looking like you guys went through training from that year, so now face this particular year. But I hope it gets better as we go on. However, I am here to bring you news and analysis of news from around the world. So let's take that. Remember that by this time last year, General Soleimani had already been assassinated, and we were looking at, wow, it looks like we may be headed towards a world war. A strange ailment was coming from Asia, and we're like, okay, is it going to come near us? No, it won't come near us. Don't worry. Have we not seen something like this? And then that year ended like that. We already have a plane mishap this year. RIP to all those who lost their lives in that plane crash. We have, of course, I've mentioned the case in America. We're looking at Museveni holding tight to dictatorship after 30 plus years. In Uganda, this and many more. Of course, part of the many more and a major part of the many more is the rising cases of COVID-19 on the African continent. It seems this year is finally our turn. So I'll take all the issues one by one. Stay with us. Earlier this year, and yes, we're just approaching the second week of the year, but on the 5th of January, magistrates in Cross River State actually had to protest, asking for their salaries. And get this, they have not been paid in 24 months. 2 years. You heard me right. That is, in a worsening economy, Nigerian economy, magistrates have not been paid in 24 months. A pandemic came, there was a lockdown, there has been food shortage, there is, what is inflation? There is inflation, there is so much going on, and magistrates in Cross River State have not been paid for 24 months. I know there are so many other states with people not being paid, but this is the news we're breaking now, and I hope we get, hold of all those other ones to talk about. Now, this protest happened on the 5th of January, and these people all came out. I think they were like 30 magistrates all came out. And one particular case, Sefia Ashipu. Sefia Ashipu is the chief magistrate of the Kato for Dupani. And Cross River is somewhere, I'm from Kaduna State, but I spent my formative years in Cross River. So I do know what Cross River is supposed to be like. Growing up, it was a very good place. And now I don't know. I just don't know. But anyway, Sefia Ashipu came out with her 2 sons. And, they blocked the second entrance to Government House, begging that, please pay us our salaries. And to be honest, that kind of civil protest is allowed. 24 months of salaries. Do you want people to die? And we have been following up on that, looking at this. What is going to happen? Will the Cross River government decide that, look, okay, these people need their salaries paid? I mean, how many are they? They need to be paid. What is going to happen? This is like the legal part of the state, for God's sake. I know that the NBA branch of Cross River has said a word or two about this. But why would you owe anybody? Ben Ayade, why would you owe someone for 24 months? And while we are, trying to appeal to the conscience of the governor, in fact, I don't know if I'm trying to appeal, I was just asking a question. But as it is, today, crossriverwatch.com, and this is it here, crossriverwatch.com reports that the acting Chief Justice of Cross River, Justice Effiong Eyo Ita, is about to publish a memo requesting that all the 29 magistrates that have been protesting in Calabar over their 24 months salary arrears, that they should stop sitting. So this is basically, I'm not going to pay you for doing your job. And after 24 months, if you protest, and I'm sure they have finished using all the avenues they know how to use. They have expired their patience. They have worn out every other avenue before they decide to take placards. And then you decide, what? For daring to speak up for your rights, you should stop sitting, which is like suspension. This is like suspension. This is like we're firing you for protesting. And this is just so unfair. Consistently, we're seeing Nigeria, the Nigerian state, constantly wanting to trample on the rights of Nigerians. I mean, this is the judiciary. If judges, if magistrates come out to seek for their rights, and the Nigerian state tramples upon them, what are we like? what happens to the rest of us? What happens to the average Nigerian? I mean, we're seeing what is happening to the average Nigerian, but is there any hope? I do hope that, Nigerian media, mainstream media in Nigeria does not sleep on this, because this is not the kind of thing that should just pass. But we're not hearing that much noise about it. I saw this from crossriverwatch.com. I need to see it on channels. I need to see it on AIT. I need to see it on This Day. I need to see it on Arise TV. I need to see mainstream media talking about the fact that, look, 29 magistrates came out to protest not being paid. And because they came out to protest not being paid, a mother came out with her 2 sons to appeal to the governor. And after trying to appeal to the governor, what do they get instead? Instead of getting justice, instead of getting their salaries paid, they are being told that no, sitting has been suspended for now because they came out to ask for their salaries. This is unfair. This is beating a child and asking the child not to cry and beating the child on top of that. Please, Nigeria, you need to do better. And Governor Ben Ayade, there's so many things you're not getting right, but this is the height of injustice. Okay, so let us look at the sharp increase in COVID-19 cases in Nigeria. We're finally past the 100,000 mark. Over 1,000 people have died, and these are the ones documented, because a lot of these cases are actually not documented. If you go through your WhatsApp or you go through, Facebook news, you just see died after a brief illness, died after a brief illness, died after a brief illness, and the cases are really going up. Our healthcare system is not one that is equipped by any measure to handle a pandemic of this nature. And so it just makes me wonder why. Like, Nigerians, why are we playing with our lives? We've been told over and over again, and it's just like we don't listen. Or is it, our own idea of faith? Or it won't come near me. You will see it happen to your neighbor and you say 1,000 will fall by your left side, 10,000 by your right. It will not come near me. But this disease is fast spreading. It is spreading. Some of us have caught it, we got better. But the thing with it is that if you catch it once, it does not mean that you won't catch it again and again and again. You might have a short time, where your antibodies are fighting for you since you have already caught it. But you would still catch it if you're irresponsible. After a while, antibodies, So I don't know what it is that's making us joke. Last year, NDDC reported that between 30th November and 6th December, there was a sharp increase. And in view of that, they're like, okay, guys, it's like the Yuletide is starting to kick in. And we understand why this is happening. So what is going to happen? Limit non-essential travels. It means that Christmas, stay at home. Jesus is everywhere. Do this celebration in one place. Nigerians refused. We all had to go to the village, had to attend the social events, had to do all of that. And this thing has blown again. What is happening? We're seeing many elderly people that we actually know, popular people are falling to this thing. And keep in mind that COVID is very strange. If it catches you now and nothing happened, the next time it might target your heart, it might target one thing, it might target the other. So I don't know why we think this is one of those things where you would, you would sublet, or you will carry responsibility and just put it on God's head. It's not yours to protect yourself or to act responsible. It is just God's own to protect you regardless. No, I still saw a wife of a major politician yesterday on somebody's WhatsApp story. Aunties on the big side, she was throwing party. People were there, no face mask. All these big women, they were there, no face mask, nothing. I'm like, you are hearing people within your circle dying, and you just refuse to do anything about it. Young people, another issue entirely. You're going out, especially if you live with your parents, you're going out, you're coming back to these homes, infecting your parents, they will die. Like, there's no magical thing. Hospitals cannot take it anymore. I've seen a case, I've seen a friend in Katsina, whose mom, her own case wasn't even COVID. So you're putting heavy weight on other people with other ailments. She needed oxygen. There was no oxygen. They had to travel to another state to go and bring oxygen there. And the thing with Nigerian government hospitals is once they run out of oxygen, you don't just put it off. They're just like, what can the doctors do? So please, if you know that now like this in your life, you do not want to come into contact with the Nigerian healthcare system, I'm begging you, stay in one place. Stay in one place. Quarantine yourself. Home is the best. Put on Netflix. Look at the garden in your house, your backyard, anything. Come out to your veranda, gist with your face mask on, and go back inside. But please, I beg of you, let us take all precautionary measures. Avoid social gatherings. Wash your hands. Put on your face mask. What COVID is doing to Nigeria now is not a myth. Do not be one of those who will do, I did not believe in this COVID thing till it caught me. You're being very, very irresponsible. Now to this national identity number palaver that Dr. Issa Pantami is putting Nigerians on in the middle of a pandemic. I want to address it. Now, this is a poorly timed exercise. It's also literally, should I call this a biological weapon against Nigerians? Like, how in the middle of this pandemic, sorry, I like to keep playing with it, but how in the middle of this pandemic will, the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Pantami, decide that, look, Nigerians should be crowded fighting for their phone lines? This is already in a country where people, there's a lot of hoax, there's a lot of conspiracy theories around COVID-19. We're not doing a good enough job as the government to convince people that, look, COVID-19 is real and people need to take precautionary steps towards protecting themselves. Instead, what do? As government, we now create an activity that will make Nigerians cramp up in one place. And look at the results right before us. There's a new strain of COVID-19 in Nigeria. A new strain. Who are the people that announced that there's a new strain of COVID-19? NCDC. NCDC is under what? NCDC is under the Ministry of Health. Ministry of Health sits with all these other ministries in the FEC meeting. So it means that in the Federal Executive Council meeting, the Minister of Health is there. Minister for Communication and Digital Economy is there. And one of them decides to, like, do you people not have, one of them decides to make this decision, and the other one sitting there who knows that Nigerian lives are at stake, I don't know, did he not say anything? Or are these things not, something as important as this is not discussed at the FEC meeting? I don't know. But these are the timelines of events. December 9, 2020, Dr. Issa Pantami said, oh yeah, we are freezing SIM registration. So it means that if you're a new person in Nigeria and you came after that, no SIM for you. Or you have to go through black market to get SIM. I don't know. So that halted, and it just shows the way decisions are carried out. Like, you just wake up and like, we're halting SIM registration. Like, this has, really, really dire consequences. And we're looking at, a policy, this kind of action being taken out without consideration for those consequences. Then after that, on December 15th, the Nigerian government, orders telecommunication providers in the country to ask all subscribers to provide their NIN. Now, I did my own NIN in October. I did that in time for renewal of passports and all of that. And I'm wondering, I thought I was not part of this. I thought, oh, I've just done this. There's no point. And just to find out that something that I did so recently, I still have to join hand. Another, I don't know where to begin. Because if you knew, if according to Pantami, that it was so long ago that was the time that was given for Nigerians to do it. If you knew, why didn't you just sync these two things? Why were they not synced since then? Why do I have to go to NIMC office, then go to Glo or go to MTN? Like, it doesn't make sense. Why is every process in Nigeria rigged to be difficult for the Nigerian? And then now we're looking at why the sudden urgency. It is alleged that during the NSAS protests, these things that they'll say, call your legislator, send your legislative number. Of course, as a politician, people's numbers are out there, and people are sending messages. We want SARS, and then we want our legislators to do something, we're dying. And as young people were sending these messages and pleading for their lives and showing the urgency for safety, for the human rights of young Nigerians, and for Nigerians generally, our legislators sat and thought, they are disturbing us. Let's look for how to curb this disturbance, instead of how can we ensure that the life of the Nigerian youth is safe, the life of the average Nigerian is safe. I don't know, that is just so disappointing. Now, the legislators actually said that the numbers that sent them those texts, they could not trace them. So imagine in the middle of NSAS protest, you sent a text to your legislator, like, sir, you are representing me in Isoko South, Southern Kaduna, Central Kaduna, Borno East, Eastern Borno. Like, this is what is on ground. This is what, and instead your legislator is busy. How did they know that they could not trace these people? It means that they went to try to trace the people who sent them these messages. Like, in the middle of the hysteria and people crying and people going, look at what is happening to us, they were looking for scapegoats. National Assembly people were looking for scapegoats, and as they could not catch the scapegoats, we have to do something about this. Everything must be linked, so that if somebody sends me a message crying next time, in whatever way the person feels in the moment of anger, they want to express themselves about what is going on in the country, I'll quickly be able to catch the person. And anyway, because of that, now Nigerians are now crowded. Have you seen it? Have you seen the crowds at these NIMC registration centers? Like, it is just out of this world. Then the staff of the place, and I've been there before. When I went to register, I remember staff complaining because the equipment are substandard. Like when I heard we had to send these text messages, I was like, if they are looking to generate money, what I'm hoping is that when this money comes up, they increase the salary for NIMC staff. They also give better equipment, because those plastic things we saw there as computers, I don't know who was in charge of that contract, but that person obviously has no morality whatsoever. Has absolutely no morality. Those equipment are substandard. NIMC staff are exposed to all sorts, and it's just not encouraging. So I thought these funds were going to be directed right, and something will be done for staff. But staff actually went on strike. They went on strike. And they went on strike because, look at this crowd. You're exposing them to health hazards. They know that if something happens to them, the government is not going to look out for them. Of course, they have called out of the strike. They have come back. So the crowds are, like, even to today, people were sharing videos of these crowds. It is dangerous. And somebody asked a pertinent question. A Twitter user, Ilemona Onoja, actually pointed out that he has COVID-19. And in view of the timeline that Issa Pantami has given, if he as a person decides that he's going to show up at NIMC to register regardless, that is a super spreader event. And we have people like that showing up. We have people like that who will have COVID, who will be asymptomatic, who may have just mild symptoms, and they would actually show up for this. So you are actually putting the lives of Nigerians at risk. You're putting the lives of Nigerians at risk. When Channels asked Pantami why, he said, it was a long time ago, Nigerians were supposed to do it and they did not do it. Yes, but we are also facing a pandemic. And I didn't see that question answered. Every time we try to have this conversation, it comes back to one thing: the life of the Nigerian, zero value. That Pantami is more interested in your SIM card must be linked to your NIN. It must be linked, even if the owner of the SIM card is dead. Here lies Kato, dead. But Kato's SIM card is linked to her NIN, so Issa Pantami is happy. Is that really the way we view the Nigerian life? That this exercise is of more value to the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy than the average Nigerian? I want to believe that that is not the case in his head. That should not be the case real life. But priorities. This is a new year. This is year 2021. We are hoping for better for Nigerians. We're asking that the Nigerian government should do better.